But in the end, they're still in need of different things. Need is
Mm-hmm.
not only financial; it's
Mm-hmm.
also about the visibility and like sort of supporting an artist in every way so they can further their practice.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of What Happens Next, a series that we've been doing for the last few months, since April actually, since COVID started, where we talk to artists and curators, arts managers from all over the world, figuring out how they are managing during COVID and what are the next steps they are taking in their work and practice. This edition, which is the third edition that we're in, is all about support. As many of you may be following us already, would be familiar with it. And we've been spotlighting various different artists, initiatives, crafts, various people who are doing very interesting work to support the arts industry in today's day and age with COVID, which are extraordinary times that we're living in, unprecedented to a different level. And so it's very interesting to see how everybody is adapting to these times now that we're 4 months into this whole lockdown, and pretty much sure the next few months is going to be the same as well. But it's important as a community and as artists that we need to adapt to our challenges. And one such organization that I've been following for the last few months is Carpe Arte. I actually know Natasha as well as Viraj, who's here. Hi, Viraj.
Hi, hi everyone.
For a few years now, actually, Natasha longer, but Viraj and I met in Chicago 4 or 5 years ago, and we've been in touch since. I, in fact, even own one of his paintings. So it's just they're fantastic. Yeah, I love it. I see it every day in the morning as soon as I wake up.
That's great.
So Viraj and Natasha, with their bigger team at Carpe Arte in Bombay, have been doing some very interesting work even before the lockdown, which I'll ask him to talk to you a little bit about. But now during COVID, they've started a new initiative called the Carpe Arte Supports. Am I right, Viraj?
Yes, that's
Right.
right.
So before
Yeah.
I hand it over to him, I just want to quickly introduce him. He's an interdisciplinary artist, a fantastic one. You must check him out, Viraj Mithani. Do check him out on Instagram and Facebook. And he's also worked in London, in Chicago. He's worked in the education sector. He's a painter. He works with print, with sculptures. Very, very interesting new work that he's producing. And I would highly recommend that you check his work out. And he's been working very closely with Carpe Arte. So, Viraj, thank you for joining us. And tell us a little bit about Carpe Arte and what you all do.
Yeah, it started out 3 years ago, and the goal was in India we don't have an active culture of visiting galleries and museums. So I think that was like the first step, getting everyone into the gallery and sort of viewing art on a personal basis from that perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it really started with a small group, like-minded of us, like what enthusiasts, just visiting the galleries, and then slowly it started becoming a thing, and more people started joining in. So after that, I mean, we kind of regularly also focused on Art Night Thursdays. That's something we have it in Bombay, where all the galleries have come together and they keep the galleries open till later, so
Mm-hmm.
people can make it after work.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been really successful in the past few years, and everyone really looks forward to it. And that's one of the times where, even if a lot of people professionals can't make it to the openings, or just in general, they don't make it to the gallery. It's like they look forward to that one night and try to catch all the shows.
Mm.
And after that, eventually, we were thinking different ways of how to sort of expand on this.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought like visiting artist studios would be a great idea, like
Yeah.
giving an insight of an artist and the process, the techniques that go into it. So we started doing a lot of studio visits. So in the past, we visited Atul Dodia, Reena Kalat, the Gaude family, and a few others. Um,
All the
and
big
then
names. Hmm.
yeah, like I mean, it doesn't necessarily. We just focus on good practices. We also
Right.
visited What About Residency, and like regularly visited artists
Mm-hmm.
who've been part of their residency there.
Mm-hmm.
So we just try and cover a different foray of artists as
Yeah,
well.
quite a
Yeah,
big gamut.
yeah,
Upcoming artists as well as established artists, I'm
yeah.
guessing, right?
Everyone, like we don't
Yeah.
like labeling, or I think our agenda is very clear. We focus on artists
Right.
without any of the labels
Right.
attached to it.
Hmm.
And then we're like, oh, how can we further this even more? Like from again a different perspective. We thought it'd be nice visiting collections, like private
Yeah.
collections. So just through our personal network and via like people who help us, recommend us, we started visiting private collections. People opening up their homes, and it's also interesting to see how, from that vantage point of view, how like, because I mean, in our walkthroughs, a lot of people come who are also collecting or thinking of starting to collect. So
Right.
how to go
Yeah.
about it. So just visiting various collections also sort of helps you viewing art in a different light and a different perspective as well. So that's also been really successful in doing that, and giving opening up um, people opening up homes to this. Like we really appreciate that. It also helps other people, like into viewing art or like shaping their own journeys
Yeah.
into the arts. So
Yeah.
that's
And it's
been great.
priceless exposure,
Yeah,
right? Because how
yeah,
often do you get to walk into a collector's home and you can basically see their journey on the wall, right? On how they started to collect. How big
exactly.
are the groups though, Viraj?
So during the art night Thursdays that we do, the general walkthroughs, that we have larger groups. So anywhere from 20 to like 40 people we've had,
Mm-hmm.
like anywhere like larger groups. But during these visits, the artist studio visits again depends on the artist studio and what capacity they can hold. But I think 15 to 20 people is a normal group. We
Right.
try and keep these visits smaller because it's also intimate, and
Exactly.
we don't want it to be a massy thing.
Yeah.
We want people to have questions that can be answered. So, like the artists and the viewers can be connected as well. So, we try and keep these groups at a nominal size. So, it's more personalized, the
Hmm.
experiences.
That's fantastic. That's what I was wondering about the group size, especially when you
Yeah.
visit people's homes.
Yeah.
So when was this started?
So this was started in 2017,
Okay.
and I just moved back from Chicago at the same time. And one of my friends had told me about this, that hey, these things,
Mhm.
this thing is started, and these walkthroughs. And so I joined them from one of the first walkthroughs. That's where I met Natasha and Nathan, and it was just like 4 or 5 of us. It was
Right.
that small, and
Yeah.
then after that, we hung out at someone else's house. So that's what we try and do as well. After every art night, we'll end up going out and just catching up on the night or just in general as well.
Mhm.
So that's something we've been doing as well, which is sort of fun.
Yeah,
But
it's a
since
great way to
then,
create
yeah,
community and
yeah,
you know and connections, right? Because we're all there for the
of
same
course.
purpose and with the
So it
same.
started then, and then ever since, we sort of like been
Absolutely.
running it
What
together.
perfect timing for you, huh?
Yeah,
Moving back to India and this starting was ideal.
yeah. So it was
That's
just like I think from
fantastic.
the first walkthrough itself, I was part of it, and then we've been growing it together ever
Yeah,
since. Yeah,
which is really nice. You've been there since
yeah.
inception. Just quickly, just I'm curious. So you were saying there are about 15 to 20 people, sometimes a little bit more than that, who come. Are they all more are they all younger collectors, or are they
It's
just
it's
from
a
various
mixed
different
foray. We
backgrounds?
get students from JJ to normal professionals
Mm,
to younger, like I mean, in their early 30s or early 40s,
mm-hmm,
again, professional, working professionals. But we've
mm-hmm.
also had regular audience of, I don't want to say older people, but like people in their 50s and
Right,
like
right.
maybe 60s too, and they like
Yeah,
regularly have been part of our walkthroughs. Like they're very familiar faces now. So I think
fantastic.
it's like an entire spectrum. It's very open to everyone whoever wants to sort of join in.
Mm-hmm.
And I think in India, again, like I said, because it's not a culture of visiting these
Yep,
places,
yep,
there is, again, like a lot of lack of awareness of
yeah,
how to sort of also approach these spaces. So
right.
people are often intimidated or not, like they just don't know how to approach it,
Yeah,
like not
absolutely.
knowing how to go into it. So I
Yeah,
think they feel a lot comfortable, being in a group as well. And also, like,
right.
if they have any questions or like getting their questions answered or talking about it, it's just
Yeah,
a much comfortable experience if it's a known group that you're going to.
right,
So,
right.
and another thing we really try and make it nice is between two art night Thursdays, we try and cover all the shows. So if
Mm-hmm.
you're regular at an art night Thursday, you will always see all the shows. We don't
Mm.
repeat shows, but between two Thursdays, we try and cover all the shows. So everyone who's coming in regularly is not repeating shows, but also newer people are joining in. it's always like new experiences as well. So
Absolutely. And that's exactly how we develop new audiences and a bigger market and segments and help people get inspired. So this is quite fantastic what you're doing.
yeah, thank you.
And I've been following all of your work from very many months, in fact, years now. So this is quite fantastic to even be able to do this interview because I also feel like, though I've never been on any of your walks in Bombay,
Yeah.
I watch them all virtually and feel like I'm a part of it. And I'm always like, oh, where did they go this month?
Thank you.
Just because I'm interested, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes we all can't be there all the time, but it's nice that we can be connected
Oh, of
virtually.
course. And I feel as COVID has sort of done that. I don't think everyone was that tech savvy
Right.
in terms of just like in the art world, just in general, like everyone, obviously, because you have physical exhibitions and that's more exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way, like I think it's sort of, we've turned it into an advantage, taken, seized the opportunity
Yeah,
to turn this into an advantage and also sort of like utilize the technology, like how to like make the most of the
right,
online experiences
right.
to also connect with
Absolutely.
everyone else. So I
Not
think
only
it's
connect, I think what COVID has
yeah,
brought to our forefront is that we always knew we had the internet. There was always Zoom, there was
yeah,
always Google Meet, but I guess we never really thought of connecting the way we did and penetrating other people's homes and accessing their art or
yeah,
performance or whatever, you know, in whatever form. I mean, it was always there, but I just think people didn't have the state of mind to do it. And
true.
they always thought it won't be a great experience. But now this has
Yeah,
forced us to do it. So in many ways,
yeah,
I feel like even for you and for us, you know, we're just reaching audiences that we never planned
yeah,
to reach, we never thought we would reach.
exactly,
And audiences are seeking out work as well, right? It's
exactly.
not just
Both the
us
ways.
looking
Yeah,
for it.
it's actively
They're
both the
also
ways.
looking for
Yeah,
content that's relevant and things that people are doing. And I guess that's how things work and that's how businesses grow and that's how you
yeah,
create new opportunities, which is a perfect time to talk about your initiative, which is Carpe Arte Supports. And I think it's something that's very smart that you all did. Many organizations have, some of them have done it very smoothly, some of them have run, you know, into a few roadblocks, but everybody is adapting and everybody's
yeah,
situation is different. And I really like the way how smoothly you transitioned. You were mindful and you were very careful of how you were presenting and who you were showcasing. There was an idea. It was not just like, oh, there's COVID, we can't do any events in person, so let me just
yeah,
try and do something online. It wasn't that, right?
yeah.
And that's what I really respect. And since you started your initiative, I've been following you very closely. And every once in a
Thank
while, I know I DM you saying, is this work available? Is that work available? But,
you.
you know, I'm going to buy your work very soon, I promise. I know I've kept so many things on hold and not done it, but coming back to this, why don't you tell us a little bit about this initiative and how it got started and what you did as well?
Yeah, I mean, so when the lockdown happened, obviously, no one thought like the consequences or how it's going to turn out. Everyone, when it just started, everyone thought, oh, it'll be it'll be there for a week or two, but we didn't realize that, this is a much longer, it's going to stay on for a much longer term, like beyond our anticipation. So I think like in the very start, in a few weeks within the start of the lockdown and the COVID situation, like there was an artist pledge, that had started. So I'd done a personal artist pledge with my own artist books actually online, and that sort of got me thinking. I'm not huge on online, like we said before. Like I mean, everyone was like working physically and attending shows physically, so online wasn't like mostly touched
Right.
on upon. Yeah, we were very active, but not in terms of like looking and seeking art or from those perspectives. All of those activities were sort of physically happening.
Mhm.
So I mean, when the lockdown happened, obviously all of that stopped, and when I put up the books, it sort of, I don't know, it just made me think, what are other artists doing? And like this is one thing that I've always thought about, just being in India and sort of also observing the art scene here, like in terms of, okay, what can an artist do? Like what kind of grants do we have? Like what kind of support do we have from government institutions? And it's
Mhm.
a smaller pool. We don't have,
Absolutely.
we have good support, whatever there is.
Mhm.
The organizations that have come up with, like it's amazing, but it's still relatively much smaller in size compared to the number of artists practicing there. So that's always been a thing in back of my head, and I'm always trying to like not change that, but sort of in my own
Make
way trying to like make that I don't know, make that system better,
mhm,
and how I can contribute to it.
mhm, mhm,
And even during our Carpe thing, we've had conversations of like, well, oh, can we host a show for artists? We do so much, and of course we have the galleries doing a wonderful job, but there's so many artists out there practicing. What about them? So, which of course, but doing other things, like we never reached there. But I think COVID was a perfect time to sort of touch base on that,
mhm,
and that's where like I thought it was a good idea. Why don't we spent 3 years building this amazing community. Let's
mhm.
try and see, we'll try and put up the works on Instagram from other artists, like good contemporary practices, out there who are also in real need. And we'll see, we'll take it from there. So it was a very fluid and an organic conversation and a way of going about it. But of
Right.
course, we put a lot of thought in and we were very specific with what we wanted. And
Mhm,
in terms of like, we did want to focus on contemporary artists. We did
mhm,
want to focus on when it started, like who are mostly sort of in need,
mhm,
which again has changed because it's been 4 months now and we're like want to open up and want to try and
mhm,
reach as many artists we want.
mhm,
But in the end, they're still in need of different things. Need is
mhm,
not only financial, it's
mhm.
also about the visibility and like sort of supporting an artist in every way so they can further their practice.
Right.
Um, so yeah, we made sort of all of those decisions, and then through our network, our own network of artists, we sort of seek for recommendations,
Mhm,
and that's how we started out. But now, luckily, we've got such a great response, and we're so thankful that so
mhm,
many of them have sort of received the support um, they need, and also through the artists as well, the word has sort of spread out, and the other artists are sort of reaching out directly.
mhm.
We don't have an open call yet because, like everyone knows, we're a team, we're a very small team volunteering our time to do this, and we have our own practices as well. So we're trying and reaching out to as many artists we can, or everyone like who's reaching out to us. We're trying to accommodate them.
Mm,
um, so sort of that's the process we've gone about. So we sort of post Monday and Thursdays. We do
mhm,
2 lots every week
mhm,
in 6 artists, and then
mhm,
we also put up stories and we save everything on our highlights.
mm,
So everything we've posted until now has also been recorded and sort of it's there for
mhm.
everyone to look at. So and then if anyone's interested, they just DM us and then we connect them with the artist directly, and
Right.
then they take it forward from there.
Yeah.
So it's a very simple process. Like the whole goal of doing this was to keep it as simple, as approachable
Mhm,
as possible. I mean, of
mm,
course, everyone's also in a crunch.
mhm,
Like it's a tight situation for everyone.
mhm.
So even the prices, we thought we'll keep it really nominal, and under 5,000 seemed like the right hallmark.
Yeah.
So anyone who also wants to support has, they don't have to think twice, or it
Right.
shouldn't even be a burden on them. So
Absolutely. Yeah,
yeah,
for sure. Do you want to just share your screen and show us the
yeah,
Instagram page?
of
Um,
course.
what I understand is that you're mainly doing this on Instagram, though you have a Facebook presence as well.
Yes, we're on Facebook and Instagram both. And
Mm,
usually, when we have the walkthroughs, studio visits, the private collections we visit, we post the calls on the Facebook. Usually, like till now, Facebook's been really
mhm,
active.
mhm,
So then people reach out to us and we do the
mhm,
RSVPs and all. But with this initiative, Instagram seemed like a better fit. So
mhm,
we're very
mhm.
active on Instagram. Yeah, we post about this on Facebook, but it's redirecting it
Right,
to
to
Instagram. So all
Instagram.
the operation is on Instagram. Yeah.
Good. Okay. So,
I'm gonna share my screen space to quickly show
yeah,
everyone.
I would love to see that because I think seeing the artwork would also give our audience,
Yeah.
a better idea of what to expect.
All right. You can see it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Just gonna get this a little lower so we can see. So that's a website on the. That's a team. Yeah, I'm just quickly gonna scroll down. That's a lovely team. And the
Fantastic.
good part is we do everything. We have not only artists and like professionals in the field, but we also have a dentist who's an amazing art enthusiast and collects in his own right. So he
You
comes
say
all the way.
dentist?
Yeah, his
Oh,
name's
okay.
Steve. and he comes all the way from Thane, and he's a he loves photography, so he documents all our stuff.
Oh,
But
nice.
also he's part of the team and he helps with other things. So it's amazing. On contrary to like, oh, only people in the arts like are part of it. Like even other,
Yeah,
you can be part of it and make a change. Who have nothing
right.
relatively to do with the field as well. So that's our Instagram page,
Hmm.
and that's all the artworks we post now. Like we're on the 26th round, which I posted today morning. So that's around
Hmm.
153 artists we've shown until now.
Hmm.
So people can check out the post. People can check out all these highlights. We've saved everything that we've shared until now, and then we're active on the stories as well.
Mm.
So anytime you like something, you can just send us a screenshot or the title and the name of the artist and the artwork, and like DM us, and then we connect you directly to the artist.
Right.
So it's a very
Fantastic.
simple process. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, just to clarify, so I know we talked about this as well. So, these are all artists who don't have any representation, are not represented by a gallery, who don't have a manager. Those
Yes.
are the kind of artists who gravitate to you, you gravitate towards them, and you can
Yes.
help them get with visibility, with, putting their works out there in need, who need the support during COVID, after COVID, before COVID, right?
Yes, so that's the goal. I mean, the artists who are represented, they have some kind of support from the gallery system.
Mm.
So we're focused on like completely independent artists who have no kind of support. And again, it's India is so vast, and like artists
Mm.
come from so many different backgrounds and smaller states and localities. So everyone's open. We've had artists from literally all over India, from a lot of different states, from like far extreme north to east to south, from everywhere. So it's been nice, even in that sense, to sort of have that unification and like sort of know practices,
Right.
not only from like Bombay or Delhi or Baroda, but also from other parts of the country as well.
Right. So these are artists, you're talking about the ones we've been doing for Carpe Arte supports. Those
Yes,
artists are from all over
yes,
and by recommendation. And then you kind of
yeah,
pick and choose the best bits and then showcase. Do you want to just show us maybe the last few posts just to kind of
yeah,
get a glimpse of it?
yeah. So those are some of the last few posts we posted, and each lot has 6 artists, so you gotta like
Right.
scroll.
Or you can open it's a carousel
Yeah.
post. That's great. I
And so
really find.
I was just saying, on Mondays and Thursdays we do the posts, and then we
Mhm.
put it up on the stories, and then
Mhm.
we follow up 2 days with more works from the artist on the
Ah,
stories, and
okay.
then we change the lot. So like we
Right.
show a few works from the artist.
Right.
So
But you
even if
don't
one
generally
work
like to
stays,
repeat the artist, right? So you try to get as many new artists as possible.
yeah, we repeat them in the sense, like maybe after 7 or 8 rounds,
Okay.
we do a Instagram run of like all of those artists again,
Hmm.
like a redo, and that's how
Got it.
we like sporadically again revisit the older artists that we've posted.
Got it. Got it.
And we also have, I mean, for our practice, I mean, obviously we have a way of like going about this,
Hmm.
but for viewers, it's just all the art is out there. So people still reach us for like, oh, I like someone from lot one or like lot six. Like we have to go way up, and we have all the folders and all, and we share it. So it's pretty easy, but it's very open. Everything that's posted is we're still happy to connect you all with the artist, and say even if we posted this one thing and that's sold out, we
Hmm.
have more artworks in the folder, so we share that folder with the buyer, and if they like something else we connect with that. So it's not just 1 or 2 works, but we keep a folder of the artist.
Got it. I also find your price point very interesting. Without COVID, like what would you see? What would you say the rough price range of these artworks would be?
To be honest, we're not, these are the artists, we've set a price point for our platform,
Hmm.
but we don't set the price point for the artist or any of the
Right.
details. It's
I
completely
understand.
upon the artist, and
Hmm.
we hope these price points are realistic to their own practice, and which I think 90% of the times they are.
Mm.
artists, because they were in extreme need, have made some adjustments
Got
to
it.
sort of fit in and benefit from this. But like majority of them are within like the actual price points
Yep.
of as well, and which I think is
Fantastic.
appreciated. We don't encourage someone who's selling it at a much higher price to sort of come down at this and
Yeah.
sort of devalue their practice. Um, but yeah, that's a nice thing. We don't regulate. Yeah, some artists, a lot of artists, we've been guiding them. A lot of them sort of need help with a
Right.
lot of things, and like just email communication, like with certificates
Yeah.
and how to even price their work. And I mean, if they've reached out to us and sort of seeked for a guidance, yeah, we've helped a lot of artists, but we don't. It's all suggestions from our end. Like
Got it.
they don't have to
Yeah.
implement it within their practice. Yeah.
Yeah. Super. I think this is great. It gives us a lot of insight,
Yeah.
and I've been following it, so I've been having a lot of time. And
Yeah.
to be honest, like at this time, the first thing in your mind, you don't think of collecting art, like in
Yeah.
a pandemic. But then when you look at some of these pieces, I really just gravitate towards them, and I feel like this is when you need the arts the most of all, right? And this is when you feel like, oh my God, this piece is really going to make a difference to my life,
Yeah.
and when you're going through a pandemic and everybody's going through their own series of
Yeah.
ups and downs, I think art's the way to support you in terms of just
Totally.
getting you through this.
It's very ironical, right? And this is, I think, arts every time, like not just in pandemic, but how it's viewed. It's not the first thing that people immediately think about, but like once when the pandemic, like what was everyone doing? Again, like they fell back upon watching shows, like surrounding themselves with creators, like revisiting TV shows or movies or like music, and then of course like enjoying also art around. So that was the only thing keeping everyone sane and like keeping everyone going. And I don't know, I read this thing online. Everyone's like, there's so many quotes and stuff out there, but like someone had written about this saying that, oh, like, yeah, like no one's ever thinking about like the actual thing. But when as a human, you like sort of are on the verge of dying or whatever, you need water. That's an essential, and that's what like sort of art is. You don't really think about it on top of your head, like the thing you need. But when it actually happens, it's you fall back upon it every time. So I think that's a very relevant thing, and like again, reiterating what you said, like everyone's falling back upon art to sort of
Right.
survive as a mode of survival.
Right, and then when you feel like it's towards supporting an artist who also
Yeah,
needs to be supported during the pandemic, like
yeah.
everything just kind of makes sense with that. And so, congratulations with the campaign, and I'm so glad that the
Thanks. Yeah,
response has been so fantastic.
yeah.
And I hope our audience, the whole idea of spotlighting them is to say that if you would like to start collecting contemporary art, or you just want to like figure out to see what. Hello, sorry, I don't know
Yeah.
if I lost it. Okay, sorry, I'm just going to repeat that. So, for our audience here, if you're just wondering if you're interested in contemporary art, if you're new to the subject, if you'd like to just follow an account that's, giving you good options of artists from all backgrounds, artists from all over the country, younger artists, established artists, everybody, do check out Carpe Arte. They'll be
Yeah.
tagged in our post as well. The Carpe Arte official. In on Instagram. Viraj, do you wanna?
Yeah, I also want to add one last point.
Mm-hmm.
This is something when we started this again, we were discussing, how we should approach this and how we want to go about this. This
Mm-hmm.
is not a charity or this is not donation. This
Right,
is we're connecting actual artists, who
right,
have really great practices with potential buyers, like who want to
right.
start a collection already, like really established collectors,
Exactly.
and like we want to have that. Um, we wanted to keep the I'm blanking out on the word, but we wanted to make sure that it's done with integrity, the
Right.
process, and for the
Absolutely.
artists as well. Like no one is doing anyone in favor.
Yeah.
It's a win-win situation for all. The artist
Correct.
gets the support they need. The buyer gets an amazing piece with a nominal price. So it's really works out for everyone in that
Yeah.
sense. So like I think what we really wanted to focus was keep sort of the integrity of that process intact.
Right.
So yeah,
And what you are really doing is supporting the arts market and the arts industry, right?
yeah,
Because what is so, like I said, a few very interesting things is the fact that at least the way I look at it is that I'm getting to see artists who I normally won't get to see or won't know about, that
Yeah,
I find very interesting. The price point is, I think, very comfortable for the
yeah,
people who are looking, because it has to be good for the buyer and for the artist. It can't be too
yeah,
low on either side, you know.
of course.
And of course, still understanding that we are going through a pandemic. So, all in all, I think it's a fantastic initiative, and thank you for giving your time and your energy, you and your
Yes.
team. I mean, I was like, we were talking when you were on the phone. This is my full-time job, and I still feel exhausted. So I don't know how
Yeah.
you have a full-time job and then do this on the side. Like, hats off to you. I mean, this couldn't be
I
easy,
know,
because
but
I'm sure you're getting so much communication, so many
yeah,
artists. There's a lot of work when you think about it, right? Because
yeah,
when you get into the nitty gritties of things.
yeah,
Um, so yeah, I just think it's pretty fun. And so all of
it
you should
is.
head over to their page, follow them, and they keep posting, like you said, twice a week. And if there's something that stands out to you or calls out to you, I think you should
Yeah,
make the plunge and buy it and help the artist, and start your journey as a collector.
yeah. And I think our overall vision is just in general. I think what we've chatted before, even like through your programming, I think it's how we can make the art scene more inclusive and like how we can grow it together.
Absolutely,
So I
absolutely.
think if everyone did their bit, I think everyone can really benefit from each other and we
Yeah,
can grow this thing together
right.
exponentially.
And when better than a pandemic to do it and come together and
Exactly.
stand united?
When life gives you lemon, make lemonade.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, Viraj,
Awesome.
and thank you everybody who are
Thank
watching as
you.
well.
Yes.
Please follow their page, like I said, and we'll also have it on our descriptions. But do follow the rest of our series. We have a few more very exciting
Yeah, looking
initiatives that
forward
we're
to
going to
other
do.
support series you've been doing. So, yeah.
Thanks, Viraj, and thank you for joining us from Bombay today. And we'll
Awesome.
catch up with you very soon. And all the very best for the
Sounds
for the
great.
initiative.
Thank you, Shreya. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Yep. Stay home.
Yes.